Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Two Fools and Fantasy Football. This is episode 5. Tonight, we're going to be talking about your must-plays and 5 starters you should probably sit this week due to their matchups. We're also going to be going over some trade talks for your QBs, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We're new to this. We're just trying to get going. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon at the bottom down here to go ding to get notified of all of our new videos we post. I'm Marty McFly, and with me as always is my main man over here, Tyler, the very uncool fool Greer.
That's right. Thank you, Marty, for that wonderful introduction. I am Tyler, a very uncool fool Greer. So that describes me in about 4 words, which is perfect. So 5 must starts this week, must plays this week. Most of these guys are on the borderline for most teams. So that's what we like to do. We like to take guys who are on the border and put them in your starts, and we're going to take guys who usually start and put them in your sit. So just kind of a little different than some other shows do around here. Number 1 is Devin Singletary, running back for Buffalo. This week he's got a great matchup against the Jets. The Jets are 20th in the run against 20th run defense in the NFL this year. The game script's probably going to be Buffalo going out to a big lead early with Josh Allen and his big arm. So later in the game, they're probably going to run the ball a lot more. That's where Devin Singletary comes in. He's probably going to get about 20, 30 carries somewhere. I'd say about 22, 23 carries. He's going to have a nice game on the ground, probably around 100 yards, maybe a little bit more. So if you got him, if you're on the border with him, maybe a flex guy, go ahead and start him, put him in your lineup, play with confidence. Devin Singletary this week, good start, put him in your lineup. Second one we're going to put in there is T. Higgins, wide receiver, Cincinnati. He'd be a great wide receiver too this week, possibly flex player, depending on what you have in your lineup, what your needs are, of course. Cincinnati this week plays the Browns. The Browns have the 27th worst pass defense in the league. So with that being said, for everybody who's been watching the Bengals this year all year long, Joe Burrow, they're using his arm, they're having that guy throw. He's thrown 40 times an average 40 times per game on average. So he's thrown a lot. T. Higgins and him, their connection's getting better every single week. So play him with confidence, put him in your lineup, and you'll have a great week with T. Higgins, no doubt whatsoever. Next on the list is Captain Christian Kirk for Arizona. He had him in the lineup last week. He killed it against the Cowboys. He absolutely crushed it this week. Yeah. So anyways, this week they play Seattle. Seattle has the worst passing defense in the league whatsoever. All eyes are going to be on number 10 on the other side there with Mr. Hopkins. So Kirk's going to have one-on-one matchups all game long. And if you watched the game on Monday night, you saw the 80-yard bomb with him and Kyler Murray. Expect more of that. Expect Kirk to get lots of targets his way. About 6 or 7 receptions at least. I'd probably say about 100 yards at least. Good for 1 touchdown against Seattle. That's going to be a high-scoring game, and that 1 touchdown, I might be on the low side on. He might score 2. So just depends on how it all goes, but that will be a very, very high-scoring game this week. Number 4, we're bringing in a tight end here. We're bringing in one who is definitely a border tight end. There's a couple tight ends that are on buys this week with Gesicki, also Andrew. So if you have this guy would be a good week starter for you. TJ Hawkinson, Detroit Lions. They are playing the Atlanta Falcons. They are the ranked 31st passing defense in the league. So we got Seattle at 32. We got the Arizona Christensen. We got this guy going against the 31 ranked defense this week in the passing offense. Other than Kenny Golladay, this guy's their main dude in the receiving the balls from Matt Stafford. So if you got him, play him. He's their big red zone target. Every time they're in the red zone, Stafford looks for him. He's going to get a touchdown this week. Look for him, play him with confidence, put him in your lineup. He's on the waiver wire, grab him, put him in. You're going to have a really nice week. You're going to be very happy that you did that. Last but not least on our list is from the Washington football team. Don't say the R word. Antonio Gibson, running back. This week he's got a wonderful – no. Don't say that. He's got a wonderful matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are ranked number 31st in all of the NFL against the running attack. Now, the reason why I picked Antonio Gibson over all the rest of the running backs this week for the Washington football team is because he is their main running back on the ground. J.D. McKissick, as we know, is getting a lot of his yards in the air. That's where his strength is. Antonio Gibson's his strength is running the ball. This week, they're going to run the ball against Dallas. That's where they're going to make their points. That's where they're going to make their mark. Antonio Gibson's going to have a great week this week. He's probably going to get a touchdown on the ground against the Dallas defense. He's a great guy to start. If you've got him in your lineup, start him. Confidence, go for it. You're going to kick it this week. You're going to rock out. Marty.
All right. These are 5 starters, guys you normally start every week because they're money, but we think we should sit them this week because of the mashups we got going on them. So we'll start with Joe Mixon, running back for Cincinnati. The Browns are 4th against the run. They just don't allow a lot of points. I would look at Mixon to maybe get 50, 55, 60 yards, maybe a short TD if they get down in the red zone, but nothing more than that. Next up on my list, we got Allen Robinson, wide receiver for Chicago, going up against the 4th-ranked pass defense in the Los Angeles Rams. Jalen Ramsey is covering people this year like a blanket, nice and cozy. Just don't start him. He won't have that many yards this week against Chicago. Against the Rams here. Next one we got up, Amari Cooper. I hate to say it, my team, Dallas Cowboys. The Washington football team are number 2 against the pass this season. They're doing great this year. Andy Dalton, most of his yards and points he got last week came off garbage time when they were down 38-3. That's why he got so many points to CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper. But just don't start Amari this week. He's going to get covered. I wouldn't go with him this week. Next one on my list, we got A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans wide receiver. Pittsburgh's got the 8th-ranked defense this year. Minka is covering people. Almost as good as Ramsey. Not as good, but almost as good. They're mostly going to be focused on stopping the run of old new beast mode, Derrick Henry. I said it right this time. So just don't look for A.J. Brown, for Tannehill to be going to A.J. Brown that much this weekend. And number 1 on the list here, we got Josh Jacobs for the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? Because he's going against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay doesn't allow rushing. They don't. They sent out a letter to all the teams, you don't run against us. You just don't. Green Bay found that out last week. Very hard. Tampa Bay's got the number 1 ranked defense against the run. You don't run on them. You just don't.
No.
And another thing, I got 2 more to add. In the Chicago Los Angeles Rams game, be careful, be wary on Kupp and Woods. The Chicago DBs in Gibson and Fuller, they're covering people like crazy this year. You just don't pass on the 2 of them. So be wary of Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Start one of them. I wouldn't start both of them. If you got lucky enough to have them both in your lineup, you're doing pretty good this year. But be wary on starting either one of them.
Yeah,
So that's what I got for my 5 starters, 5 couple plus starters you should sit this week due to the matchups.
Yeah, those are great things to look at too, as well as you're looking at the defense and you're looking at who's going to be stopped this week. You're looking at just overall performance too, because it's not a secret now. We're in week 7, so the defenses are who they are. It's not like they're going to do a magic trick or Houdini trick. Tampa's not going to go from first to worst overnight. It's just not going to happen. So, okay, so trade talk. So we're going to talk a little trade here, a little something here for you, just depending on what your lineup is, where you're at, what you're looking for, what you need, what you don't need. Maybe trade from something that you're strong at. Maybe you got like 15 running backs. Maybe you got 6 receivers that are solid. I over-exaggerate on the running backs, of course, like maybe 5. Maybe you need a quarterback this week or whatever you need. We're here to help you out. We're here to get you that 1-week trade that's going to put you on the win column. That's what it's about. This every week you play fantasy football, 1 week at a time, 1 win at a time. That's all you can do. Yes. Thank you, Marty. Get that W up. So the 3 quarterbacks we're going to talk about this week that you should trade for, if you can trade for them. The first one, Big Ben from Pittsburgh. He's got a great matchup this week, as we were talking about earlier. If you can get him, trade for him. He's going to have a lot of yards this week. He's got Claypool. Deontay Johnson should be back. His 2 favorite targets. He's going to light it up this week. If you can get him, grab him. He'd be a great guy to have for your 1-week stopgap. Next guy on the list, Justin Herbert. They're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the weakest passing defenses all in the NFL. Justin Herbert's got weapons. He's got Mike Williams. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Hunter Henry, just name a few. So if you got him, play him. There's 2 games this year. He's already had over 300 yards. And the last 2 games he's played in, he's had 7 touchdowns combined. So he's on fire. He's killing it. If you got him, trade for him. Excuse me. If you don't got him, trade for him. If you got him, play him. So he's a great start this week. Last one we're looking at is Matt Stafford. He's got a great matchup this week. We talked about how they're playing the Atlanta Falcons. We already linked up TJ Hawkinson to him. If you don't have him, if he's on a waiver wire, pick him up. If you can trade for him, trade for him. He's going to be a low cost this week. You're probably going to be able to get him for some mediocre guy, maybe somebody on the bench that you don't want anyways. So put up those trades offers, get Matt Stafford on your team, put him in the lineup, get yourself some points. He's probably going to get at least 25 points this weekend. So he'll definitely help you out, better than having him help out some other team. So the running backs we're going to go to. So number 3 this week, if you can trade for him, he's going to blow up after this week. Antonio Gibson from the Washington football team. We just talked about him in the last segment. If you can trade for him, grab him. This is going to be the last week where you're really going to get him for a really cheap cost. If you know the guy who owns him still has him is not the best running back in the league. But after playing Dallas, his value is going to go straight up. So if you can get him this week, put him in your lineup, let him increase his value, then maybe possibly trade him next week too. Get a higher return for him too, which is something that you might want to think about depending on if you're trade savvy or not. Next guy on the list is Justin Jackson, Los Angeles Chargers. So this guy's under the radar. There's no doubt about it. They're playing Jacksonville this week. So if you got him, Jacksonville is the 26th ranked defense in all the league against the rushing. So if you can grab him this week, play him, put him in there. You could probably, again, trade him for somebody who's on your bench or somebody who you don't need this week. If you got an extra receiver, maybe a couple extra running backs who you don't like as much, he's a great guy to have in the lineup this week. He took the lead dog role 2 weeks ago with the Chargers. So if you can grab him. You can trade for him, trade him. He'd be great on your team. He's going to get you some good points. You're going to be very happy you got him this week against Jacksonville. The last guy. Now, this guy's going to have the biggest impact this week on any team that he's on, James Conner. Pittsburgh Steelers, they got a great matchup this week. James Conner has a phenomenal matchup this week against – oh, man, I'm sorry. Who are the Steelers? Who are the Steelers playing this week? I'm just drawing a blank. Titans, thank you so much, man. Holy smokes. Wow. So he's got a great matchup against the Titans this week. Last week, the Titans gave up over 600 yards to the Houston Texans. So if you got him, play him with confidence, he's going to just crush it this week. And also, too, if you can trade for him this week, this is the last week you're going to be able to get a decent trade offer for him. After this week, it's going to go up and up and up because now that he's healthy, he's rushing the ball, he's their main force in Pittsburgh again. It's going to be tough to get him from an owner's hands. So if you can get him this week, this might be your last chance to get him. So James Conner, get him if you can.
All right, I'm going to be talking about the wide receivers you should do trades for. And keeping with Pittsburgh, Deontay Johnson. Like we said, Titans are the 28th ranked pass defense. He's low by right now because he's had his last 2 weeks have been very low on points because Claypool's the new flavor of the month right now. So Big Ben's throwing to him all day long. So Deontay Johnson, you can get him real cheap right now and get him because Big Ben loves him too. Going forward, so in all these trade talks, we talked about Ben, Connor, and Deontay Johnson. Get the Pittsburgh team. They're going to get you more points. Talked about this kid earlier, number 2 on the list, Christian Kirk. Seattle's got 32 ranked pass defense. Seattle can't guard anybody. They couldn't guard me, and I'm 41 and fat. So, and also with the agility of Kyler being able to just run anytime he wants to, he's going to be one-on-one all day. So if you can get Christian Kirk, get him before this weekend, start him, plug him in, points will rain down from the sky. Next one, last one for the wide receivers. You got Mike Williams. The Jags are 26th versus the Pats. He's going to see number 2 cornerback all day long with Keenan Allen seeing the number 1. Trade for him. He's low right now. Herbert. We talked about Herbert in Tyler talked about Herbert earlier in the trade. He loves Mike Williams. So if you can get him on the cheap, get him on the cheap for the upcoming weeks moving forward. On a tight ends now, we got Gronky Donk. He's seeing more and more playing time, more and more catches. Him and TB12 are back together.
Yep.
They love each other. They go on vacations together. They do each other's hair. A little weird. But he's back. So if you can get Gronk on the cheap, I picked him up. I drafted him in a bunch of my leagues, but after the first couple of weeks, he wasn't doing so good. I dropped him. I'm picking him back up again. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what you should do. Next, Hunter Henry, LA Chargers. Man, talking about Chargers in Pittsburgh all day in these trades. Pick him up because everybody's been low on him. Hunter Henry's been played with an injury bug the last few years. He does great starting out, middle of the season, kind of goes down. He comes back at the end of the year. Jags are 26 versus the pass. So pick him up if you can. You can get him on the cheap, maybe just for a straight up tight end trade or trading for somebody that's on your bench. Do something. Get him. Also, last tight end on the list from Tennessee, John New Smith. Pardon me, I pronounced that wrong. Why? Because he's a top 5 tight end this season. Come out of nowhere. Get him in his trade this week. His value is going to go down because of his injury last week, but he's going to get past it, and his value is just going to go straight back through the roof again. So pick him up with everybody focusing on new beast mode. Tannehill's going to be dumping off passes to him all season long. So get Juju Smith for a good cheap trade there.
Yep. And the guy who replaced him last week, Fursker, he had a career year. He had 8 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Those all should have been Smith's points. So just to kind of give you something, Tannehill loves his tight ends. 2 weeks ago when Smith was healthy, he had 2 touchdowns off 5 receptions and 40 yards, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but the two touchdowns shows you where he's going in the end zone. So both those were very close. They're within the 20-yard line. So when the red zone comes in, Tannehill's looking for Smith. He's not looking for A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a guy from the 20 of 20. So just some guy you can get on the cheap, get him while he's hurt. He's got a minor ankle sprain, and you won't regret it for the rest of the year. He's a top 5 tight end. He's going to just go on the up and up, and he can be up there with Andrews, or I wouldn't say Kelsey or Kittle, but I put him right up there with Andrews and anybody else. So great call on that one, Marty. So all right.
Even Darren Waller too.
Yeah.
Up there with him too.
Yeah. Those guys are in the same bracket. They're in the tier 2 tight ends. Absolutely. So that's a great call, Marty. So guys, ladies, this is the end of our video. We really appreciate you taking some time out to check us out. So like we said, we're new at this. We're going to get better. We're going to, we love giving you all the stats and facts. This one, obviously, we know who we're looking at this week for trade targets. Steelers and Chargers. They got the best matchups of the week going here. So anyways, please like, subscribe, share, comment, anything and everything. Please, we are here for you. We love to hear comments. We love to hear feedback. Anything we can do to help you with your lineups this week, any questions you have, flex issues, trade issues, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out in any way possible.
Yep.
So, all right. So I am Tyler, the Uncool Fool Greer, and this is
Marty McFly coming
That's right.
live.
That's right. And
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. And we are just 2 fools who love fantasy football. Have a great night.